Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Debating Grounds. This is episode 3, and we are back with an exciting set of debate. I think this time we're back with English debate. I think last time Bangla debate অনেক amazing response আসছিল. So I would like to thank to all our viewers যে এত ভালো করে debate দেখছেন and for results বলছেন যে who according to you won the debate. So I would like to urge all the viewers যে do the same for this debate as well. This is the last English debate that we are broadcasting live. Hopefully, if we have a season 2 somewhere down the line, we can have another set of debates. But without further ado, I would like to tell the motion of today. The motion is this House regrets the use of death penalty for crimes against humanity. And from the government side, we have Adib Faisal, Polo Poddar, Antara Labiba, and in the opposition, we have Deepu Kumar, Sanjana Tasmia, and Mahatab Kabir. So we would like to start by calling out the first speaker from the government side, that is Adib Faisal. So Adib, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Just give me some seconds. Yeah, I'm just
Uh,
like turning on my stopwatch. All right. So starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for giving me the floor. So, what is crime against humanity? Well, it is a systematic approach where crimes like genocide, mass rape, and like forced migration to a certain group or certain group or race of people is done uh, uh, is is done is basically called the crime against humanity. So, what are the criminals look like? What does the criminal basically look like? So first of all, they are obviously like supreme leader of a country. Secondly, they have a strong ideology that make them hate a certain group of people where they can go to any extent. And thirdly, they are not alone. They have a certain group of people, a strong group of people who actually support that ideology and support that leader in order to do such crime. Or else they wouldn't be able to do such crimes, right? So thirdly, they think they are doing the best for their country. Like they do strongly believe that they are doing the great for their country. And finally, the support group thinks that they are the true patriot of their nation. They are doing the right for their country, right? So why do we regret the death penalty of such hideous people, right? So basically, three reasons. Firstly, it can't just the punishment is not justifiable for such hideous crime. Does not bring strong impact to the society. Thirdly, serves the purpose of the CGS system very poorly. And fourthly, poor diplomatic approach. Going back to my first argument, first layer of analysis. Firstly, the victims of such crime are brutally tortured, are brutally murdered, and brutally raped. All right, and they face a lot of like very extreme consequences for such crimes. And in death penalty, like we in the narrow view, we might think this is the supreme punishment a person can get, but in reality, it's not true at all. It's far fetched from the truth, because the death penalty, the when a person die from a death penalty, it's a quick death. All right, so the person doesn't suffer that much for that death. Rather, a patient from cancer suffers a lot more for this type of crime. So it is not as horrible of a punishment as it seems like. All right, so this is the first reason why it is not justifiable, like the first layer of analysis of my first arguments. The second layer of analysis, the people who does this type of crime are strongly they strongly believe in the purpose, they strongly believe in the ideology. All right, so they're all right dying for the purpose. Okay, and this is first, like for example, like people like Hitler, like who did this type of crime. He committed suicide, and he died proudly, because like he strongly believed in what he did. And the people like the supporter people, the people who supports this type of crime, they also strongly believe that the people the if that person is being penalized to death, they believe that person is a war, that person is the hero of the country. All right, so like the crime actually doesn't serve justice to the serve the proper justice because of these kind of reasons. All right, so then the question arises, then, oh, what's the alternative, right? The alternative is lifetime imprisonment. And why is that? Firstly, the lifetime imprisonment, if you watch the documentary of the lifetime imprisonment, it is really horrible, all right, because every second and every minute of the time you serve in the jail, like you suffer for a lot of like physical and psychological pain, and for the whole year, and every minute you remember like what you did, all right. So it's more like painful to the person. And why is it exclusive to the people who did this type of crime? Firstly, as I mentioned before, the death to this type of person, the physical death to this type of person is not that much. It doesn't matter to that type of person that much. But the ideological death of this type of person, like, will kill them inside. Like, for example, if Hitler was alive hypothetically, and he was given like a lifetime imprisonment, he would be there alive to see like his ideology being like nullified, because after the war was end, the hatred for the Jewish people in the for the that was minimized. People, and like in this current situation, the hate, like we don't see that much hatred among the Jewish people in Germany. So if he was held for lifetime imprisonment, he would be there alive, seeing the cause of his the cause why, the reason why he did all this kind of thing, dying in front of him. The death of his ideology would hurt him a lot more, and would make him realize the effort that he did, the reason why he did type of thing, the reason why he's suffering for this kind of punishment, like, did not was not worth it. All right, so this is why we regret the death punishment of death penalty for this type of crime. Secondly, it doesn't send a strong message to the society. Why? Firstly, like, death is inevitable. Like, every person will die. So if you just if you just like order a death penalty to such a criminal, that person will die, and maybe some history will written for that person, but that person won't be alive for documentation of for the people, like, that suffering he is getting. But if he's given a lifetime imprisonment, then he will be there for documentation, for the way he's suffering. People will gonna know what he did, and what is going through, what he is going through, and what he's going through. And there is, and in our best case scenario, there is always an opportunity, like, when a person do this type of crime, that person doesn't realize that what type of what he did. But in the lifetime imprisonment, there is always an opportunity that he might realize that what he has done. And in a lot of cases, like, for say that the gatekeeper of the Nazis, and other criminal for the who are involved in such crimes, when they got in lifetime imprisonment, a later part of their life, they realize what they did was not worth of this punishment. And just imagine if a criminal like that realizes a part in their life, like whatever they did, and they came to the public and they confess their guilt, and they said like, whatever I did not do right, and I suffer for this, and I am guilty of that. The message to the society will be highly strong, and which will allow the society to reform better than the current system, which is like giving death penalty to such criminal, does not allow this type of thing to happen. So in that case, like, we present you a better world, a better solution. And that is why we regret death penalty so much. The third argument and the fourth argument, which is like serving the purpose of the CJ system poorly and poor diplomatic approach, will be explained by Pallav Bhaiya, and proud to propose. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adib. That was indeed a wonderful speech. Like, first speaker, Ishawa, the way you brought up the Nazis, the way you brought up your arguments, and I found it very insightful. Personally, I think the next speaker from the opposition is Mahatab. So, Mahatab, the floor is all yours.
Audience, I want you to like think about what the government has just said. Okay, they told you that, look, the people who do crimes against humanity are extremely powerful people, and they have extremely powerful ideologies. And then they tell you that these extremely powerful people will go to prison and have a terrible life in prison, and these extremely like strong ideologies will falter and fail. But that is not how things happen, right? What do we see in the case of extremely powerful people going to prison for lifetime? These people rule the prison because the entire system is so corrupted and so bribed that these people go to prison and live like kings, like we've seen in multiple like scenarios. For example, Wilson Fisk in that TV series. I forgot that name. So what I essentially mean is, you can never imagine the life that these people will lead once they go to prison for a lifetime. And if you believe that their ideologies will falter, that they're going to apologize for their ideologies hurting a lot of people, that's never going to happen. Because to these people, their ideologies are everything. They were ready to give their lives for it. So for that specific instance, they're never going to tell you that, look, I'm sorry, that, look, I've hurt a lot of people. What they're essentially going to do is propagate their ideologies from within the prison, if that is the shackle that you want to keep them with. Because there's going to be millions of supporters outside the prison that are still going to live for that ideology, for that individual. And if you talk about documenting these people and seeing how they're living their lives and seeing their misery, imagine how it hurts the victims, right? Seeing the perpetrator live every single second while their loved ones are gone. Seeing the person who killed their family and friends breathe while their family and friends are not there. We think that that is injustice. But what is essentially, like, how essentially do these people actually look like? We don't think they need to be extremely powerful people with extremely big ideologies. We think crimes against humanity can be killing and rape that can also be done by one single individual, probably with no like ideology or anything, right? Because these people, the ones that are undertaking these heinous crimes, they cross a specific threshold of human behavior, right? That is exactly where we give them a death penalty, for example, murder, serial killing, etc., right? So like, it can happen for two instances. First of all, that specific individual needs to undergo an immense amount of mental ordeal to be able to perform those heinous crimes. Or secondly, they probably have 0 ounce of conscience or humanity left in them, right? Which means that they're devoid of all forms of positive emotions in this world, right? That is the circumstance where we tell you that that is exactly the point where death penalty becomes something that we propose, right? Because that is the only probable response to these individuals. Why so? Two responses. First of all, because the harm that they incurred is far greater than any repercussions that they can ever face. And hence, it is our responsibility in principle to give them the maximum amount of repercussion that we can give them. If the government comes and tells you the death penalty is not the maximum repercussion because it's a quick death and you don't suffer, we tell you that we also have to ensure that we do not turn inhuman by torturing them, that we do not turn inhuman by repeating the same things that they did. So we believe that the maximum amount of repercussion by keeping our humanity at stake is by giving the death penalty. Because if not so, the fundamental nature of human existence, that you get what you give, is hurt, right? If their negative actions are not causing like negative consequences in their lives to that certain extent, then the positive actions that I do are invalidated in and of itself in principles. The amount of hard work that I do then necessarily needs to be like given a huge amount of positive like reinforcement to myself, right? So it doesn't make sense when they do something as horrible and don't suffer the same repercussions, if not the same repercussions, at least close to the same repercussions that they did, right? Secondly, the point that they tell you, right, that we need to rehabilitate these people, we need to teach them that what they did was wrong, right? But understand that, like, for these people, there is literally no hope. They will keep on repeating their crimes because their conscience can never be restored, right? Because they have reached a point of inhumanity when there's no ounce of conscience or humanity left in them, right? Which means that they have no positive emotions left with them, that they're devoid of any positive utility that they can contribute to the society and to humanity. They have nothing else to give back to the humanity. If you give them punishment, it's just, if you keep them in life imprisonment, if you give them food, if you give them utilities, we think that is an absolute injustice to the thousands and millions of underprivileged people who are capable of producing like positive utility. We think the only thing that they deserve, that these individuals deserve, and have the only thing that these individuals deserve is a death penalty, because that is the only point in time, number one, we are at least trying to give them the repercussion that they deserve, and secondly, we're ensuring that we're not like keeping someone who has no possible who has no possibility of positively contributing to this world and positively contributing to humanity. We want these people, we don't want these people to be here. We want to get the message that if you are capable of not having a conscience, of not having a humanity, then you don't deserve to live with human beings in and of itself. Very proud to propose. Mashu, you're muted.
I believe I'm muted. I believe I was muted. But thank you so much, Mahatab. I believe that was a very, very strong counter argument. I think it was a very, once again, very insightful speech from the opposition. But once again, I would revert back to the government side. The second speaker of the government side is Paulo Poddar. So, Paulo, the floor is all yours.
Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1. First of all, I really need to say that the opposition side is really pessimistic. They're saying that people who are serial killer or pedophile or psychopath, they don't have any positive utility to the society, and that's why we should just hang them or give them the death penalty. From government side, we are not that much pessimistic. We're really optimistic that we can save their lives, and we can make them repent for what they have done, and make them realize those things, and then we can rehabilitate them to the society so that they can have those possible utilities, right? And it occurs, right? And how it occurs, we have seen that people who are who have like bipolar disorder or like dual personality disorder, who are psychopath, right, and who have suffered trauma in their lifetime, we can counsel them so that those people can integrate with the society, and those people have mental peace, right? So that's why we feel that if we can counsel them, then we can teach them the social contract theory, and we can teach them how to abide by the rules of the state and to cooperate other people. That's why we can gain some possible utilities from those people. And secondly, we believe that the opposition side was little bit derailed from our debate, because we have set a concrete definition of what is crimes against humanity, right? They have talked about those serial killings, but those are not crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity are perpetrated in a large amount of people, right, like genocide or ethnic cleansing, that sort of thing. So I believe that they didn't engage us in our principles. So what we have told you, a couple of things. Firstly, we have told you that these people deserve greater punishment, right? And the opposition side is saying, look, the greater punishment will be achieved by a death penalty, and also the greater victim satisfaction will be achieved by death penalty, right? And I will tell you that in our case, that victim satisfaction, you say the greater punishment will be like implemented through the lifetime imprisonment. First of all, you need to understand that the victim satisfaction is subjective, right? In cases like where someone kills a person, then you have this revenge mentality that revenge mentality. You can say that you want to see the maximum punishment of that person. But in cases of ours, like when we are talking about genocides, we have everyone is facing the same problem. Then I believe then we believe that if you can convict those perpetrators and make them and make them repent and to the trial system, then we believe that the victim satisfaction will be justified, right? And secondly, we believe that it is a sort of rehabilitation and sort of realization process which cannot be happened in the government side, because government side will simply implement the death penalty. But we believe that uh, uh, punishment punishment is necessary in criminal justice system, but the most important thing should be like uh, those crimes won't happen in the future. We have to make sure about that. So in our model, when we see that some persons are realizing that they have done heinous crimes, then they can repent, and also they will share their feedback. They'll share the message that that I have done terrible things. We have seen this in the cases of Holocaust incidents, right? To date, many of gatekeepers of Holocaust gas chambers right now are denouncing those incidents and saying that their deed was wrong, right? So this can only happen in our world when you give them the time to realize. And when we see that when the mass people see that they are repenting, then in cases where there was massive support for those crimes, then they will also realize, the population, that those crimes are wrong. Understand that in cases where people supported Holocaust back then, or in cases where people supported the death penalty of Saddam Hussein in Iraq, right? So those people can understand that no, that person did crimes against humanity. That person did, possessed weapons such can destruct humanity, right? So that can happen only in our world, because people won't simply think that, oh, look, this person is a martyr because it was falsely convicted by another government. No, this cannot happen in our world, because government will change one after another, but the trial system will remain fair, and people will still see that those people are criminals, and we have the evidences against that. Mata said one thing, that these people rule the prison and they will do anything to get out of the prison. We believe that those people could only do it if they are in power, right? But those people cannot do it, because already there is a power shift, and that's why this trial happened at the very first place, right? Understand that Nazi party were dethroned, and then we saw the Nuremberg trial, right? Not before that. So in under no circumstances there can be a political change where these people will be in the throne again. And if they are debating in a slippery slope that, look, these people can get out of the jail, then this can happen in both of the world, right? We are not debating in such scenario. So that's the thing. And also, finally, we have seen that these things can create awareness among the mass population, when they realize that that these people are not martyr, and their ideologies were on the basis of falsehood. That's why we are really proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pallav. I think once again that was an amazing speech, because you brought up the point of Saddam Hussein and other death penalties and how it affects the prison system. I believe very well point put across. But now we have the second speaker from the opposition, that is Sanjana. I would request Sanjana to present her speech.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, and 1. Here it comes. This House regrets the use of the death penalty for crime against humanity. But I would like to say it doesn't. The thing is, there are some types of crimes which are serious and dangerous at extreme levels. So, Is not this one useful for filing death penalty for them? Example, rape or killing related works. These are severe level crimes and these are severe extreme level. So definitely it's very normal and it's very useful to file death penalty against them because raping a person or raping a girl, this one is near killing someone or killing someone. That one is also like similar to rape. Like if one person is killing if killing another person, if one person is killing another person, that person is becoming that victim, and the killer is taking one person's life. That killer is taking that victim's life. So why will not that killer's life be taken if that killer is doing this such heinous crime, this such unbearable crime? So definitely it's so obvious. Not for all types of crimes means the death penalty is filed death penalty is filed by the government or by the law, not for all types of crimes, because there are some crimes like stealing, taking monies of others, doing unlawful works, property destroying, dismantling others properties, these kinds of works. Actually, if what kind of punishment is applied for them, or if one kind of punishment is given them, they will be reciprocating for that. Like they will be given this punishment, that means how much money or what how much money you have stolen, or if the punishment is like dealing with other illegal dealing with the properties. And if one that person is said that give fine 1 lakh taka, not 1 lakh, 2 lakh taka, or 10 lakh taka, or 20 lakh taka is fine, they are reciprocating that person's life. Okay, if money is taken from one person's life, that person will not be harmed at civil level because money will go and come, that person will be able to income. So for these kinds of crimes, death penalty is not required, but the crimes which cannot be rectified at all, but the crimes which cannot be fulfilled at all by giving anything like rape, killing, definitely death penalty is needed for these kinds of killers, or for needed for these kinds of such criminals. Next comes crimes which are of extreme type are like contagious diseases. Okay, now let's come to this example like corona. This one is coronavirus, COVID means this COVID. This one is also sort of a contagious virus means this one is going from person to person. This one is just going at, let's just like an all-rounder. Okay, this one is all-rounder. This one is killing all the people. And so crimes are also like that. Like these are also like contagious diseases. The diseases which are killing person, crimes are also killing person, right? For an example, if an innocent boy, that boy is not that boy is not involved with any kind of wrong activities, or that boy is not involved with any kind of wrongdoing. But that boy, if that boy mixes in one circle, which circle is possessed with poisonous, serious, dangerous types of works, or the means that group intakes drugs, that group is involved with drugs, that group is addicted to any kind of bad thing. And if one innocent boy, or if an innocent boy mixes with that group, easily that innocent boy will be inspired, will be motivated, will be manipulated, will be convinced for taking drugs, and that innocent boy will easily get addicted to drugs. And nowadays you see that in many countries of the world, if a person is addicted to drug, or drug addicted people are also given death penalty, because drug is killing. His drug dismantles the whole world, drug dismantles the whole nation. So just like this means getting inspired by friends, there are some people who are getting involved with dangerous types of crimes. So for them, definitely death penalty is only the solution. Death penalty is the only rectification for them, so that this can be stopped. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that crimes are like contagious diseases. Next comes insecurities will increase, right? Insecurities in country will get spreaded. Why insecurity will get
POI,
spreaded?
man.
If no, not that, I'll not take, sorry. If a rapist and if a murderer, if a rapist and a murderer, if they are left, if they are not given any punishment, if they are freed from punishment, if they are not given any kind of any kind of lesson is not put for them, what will happen? This will get spread. This will start spreading. This will keep spreading. This will not stop by any cause, because if one person is seen, one person, I suppose, if example me, if I'm seen a criminal, if I'm seeing a criminal, that criminal who has been freed due to, I mean, who's been freed from punishment despite raping a girl, and if I see her being a boy, if I see her, not him, sorry, if I see him being a girl, that yes, this person has been freed and no punishment is there, no justice is ensured in this country, so I can easily rape another girl. This one means these kinds of such, miss psychologically, I will be psychologically I will be down, right? Psychologically I will be miss. I will become bohemian type of attitude will get into me. I will be possessing with this, and that will psychologically tarnish me. And seeing these criminals who are freed from punishment despite of doing these kinds of such serious level crimes, all the people are seeing this. And another means the same goes to the other boys. Boys will learn. Boys will come to know. Boys will get into it, and they will say this, that as this person has been freed, so let me go to that. Let me also do this, as no justice is ensured in this world. So in this way, insecurity will keep increasing. Insecurity will get spread at huge level, and for this, no development of country will come. And net, it's like that. By inspiring victims, this also comes like this. That if which one I have heard from the first speaker, from Adib, I have heard this, that he mentioned like this, that. There is no impact of any kind of punishment. There is no impact of any kind of this kind of works, because actually there is impact of punishment. If I am said that, if one person says that stop spending your time on these useless works, so you stop spending your time for punishing the criminal. Rather, you go and you go and inspire the victim. You go and make that victim calm down. You go and make that victim understand. Give psychological support. Okay, suppose if this crime is not going to occur with that victim, but if this same crime occurs with another person, what will happen? Suppose the victim has been relieved, but what will happen in the case of other persons if this one continues? So this one comes that this one is of course needed. This one is needed a severe level, that to punish the criminal, to stop this, to punish a criminal, to stop this crime. This one is needed at extreme level. Okay, because other people are spreading insecurity, or spoiling, or tarnishing, or making an outrageous situation will not give any kind of security in country. And these, after all, these psychological facts are mattering here. If the person is not okay, definitely nothing can make that person good. So example, math. If I'm teaching you math, if the person does not learn that, definitely there is no need of teaching that mathematics to that person. Same goes to this, same goes to in case of criminal, same goes like this. Okay, yes, if a criminal is not rectified, definitely there is no way to stop all this crime. So I'm going to end my speech saying all this. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sanjana. I think that was a very, very impactful speech. But we would move on to the third speaker from the, third speaker from the government side. That is Antara. Antara, the floor is all yours. Please do continue.
Give me a moment to organize my papers. Really sorry.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
So starting my speech in three, two, one. So as government, I'll be doing three things in my speech. First, I will reiterate the context. Secondly, I will rebut the opposition case, and third, I'll summarize the government case for you. So, what is crime? What do we mean when we say crimes against humanity? It is a systematic crime carried out not out of hatred or without motive, the way a serial killer would go about killing people. It's a crime that's committed by a regime or by a group of people, and it is enabled because of support structures that exist. And this has been characterized by my PM, and it is usually motivated by power. And while death penalty is ineffective in and of itself in other scenarios as well, it is particularly harmful when applied to crimes against humanities. And why is that so? But before I move on, a few rebuttals. From the DLO, we get this bit of constructive. which relies on a very narrow characterization of crimes against humanity and also the people who commit those crimes. And as stated by my DPM, these are real people and not viruses or bad apples that must be gotten rid of. Understand that mental health conditions can make a person predisposed to commit crime. There are other circumstances as well, such as a person not being financially stable can cause them to enlist for an autocratic regime. There are certain circumstances that make people prone to radicalization, but there's also the option that people did not have a choice to begin with and were forced to join these regimes. But now, moving on to the crime itself, it's systematic in nature, as in there are leaders who plan out how the crimes will be carried out, and it's not committed because the individuals are inherently evil. Like, sure, they're evil, but it's not evil that's undirected. Rather, these are crimes committed to achieve specific goals, to for the certain groups to come into positions of power. And there are political structures and institutions that enable these crimes to take place, that act as bystanders when these crimes happen, as we see with the international community when it comes to the Chinese oppression of Uyghur Muslims. And reform of these institutions is necessary. However, from the government side, our goal and our burden is not to reduce crimes against humanity because this requires structural changes. However, our burden is to enhance the optics of the punishment and to allow for individuals to reform and reflect, which does not exist under the opposition side. What do we get from the DLO? What do we get from the DLO? Sorry, from their LO. So they tell us that these individuals are allowed to propagate their ideologies within prison systems. Understand that when under their side death penalty is enforced, the narrative is created that these are heroic people who have sacrificed their lives for their agenda. And what does this do? This further strengthens their ideology. They base off this argument from whatever TV show they have seen, and it's simply untrue that these prisoners will get that level of privilege to propagate their ideologies. But secondly, they provide this constructive that these individuals who commit such crimes are devoid of all positivity. And as my PM has shown to you, that these are real people who have these are real people who can change, as we have seen in the current context, that prisoners, that gatekeepers of Nazi gas chambers have admitted to understanding that their actions were wrong. But also, the criminal justice system is flawed to begin with. War crime trials usually happen years later, and the guilty individuals are usually not found or are deceased by then. So when they claim that taking away death penalty makes their justice system that makes the justice system extremely unjust, it's simply untrue, because the comparative is that without death penalty, it's not like more people are brought to justice, because as I've said, war crime trials make sure that most of the individuals are not brought to justice. Moving on to the third piece of constructive, that people get what they deserve, and this narrative is broken when we do not provide death penalties. This is untrue. Crimes against humanity exist under both sides, and it is proof that people simply do not get what they deserve. There are innocent individuals who are subjected to crimes or circumstances that they did not deserve. And it is hard to buy into their narrative that enforcing death penalty will bring about closure and uh, will bring about this narrative that this nonsensical harm that they have been subjected to has some sensical meaning, because the crimes do exist, and the status quo shows that people are subjected to things they do not deserve. But fourthly, they tell us that these people existing provide no utility at all. To which we say, even if these people do not provide any utility while staying in prison, so optics of it matters, because this optics outweighs the lack of utility these prisoners have. Because as said previously, The death penalty enforces this narrative that they are heroic people. And what have we shown to you today from the government side? My PM has told you how lifetime imprisonment is better than death penalty because it does not because under the circumstance that death penalty is enforced, it's quick and it does not allow for the prisoner to live long enough to see their agendas fall. It allows for these individuals to not have to face the to not have to see how their regime has fallen apart, and this means that all the mental harm that they may have gone through does not exist under the opposition side. So even if they're judging by the metric of retributive justice, we show to you that under our side, this justice is served. But secondly, from my PM, they tell us that lifetime imprisonment does provide individuals with the opportunity for reform and to reflect on their actions and to change. And because of this marginal difference, we are very proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you, Antara. That was indeed a wonderful speech. And the next speaker is Deepu. Deepu Bolar, I have to say that this is Deepu's third appearance. I think he has made more appearance on Institute Talks than a lot of the guests. It's when Deepu ekdom chilled out lagteche. Like he seems like so prepared. So Deepu, go for it.
Honorable Speaker, you kill one person and you are a hideous criminal, and you murder thousands of people, rape hundreds, and suddenly you are a national hero. Sadly, that is the portrayal, that is the image of this certain regime, certain people they are talking of, the people of power in the society. And ironically, the victims, the people who suffer for them most, they also have a like larger than life persona or image for those peoples. And these people they are talking about, and if I agree with them in every cases of the characterization of the people they have made out of the like people who commit crimes against humanity, if even I agree of those characterizations, these people think that they are above the law, and they think that they can commit anything under the veil of national policies, under the veil of geopolitical power or geopolitical supremacy, under the veil of war. They can do anything and get by it and be above the law, and they will not be prosecuted the same way another criminal might be for committing these crimes. Look the arrogance, and look uh, the the showmanship of power these people are going showing. The Prince of Saudi Arabia, MSB, he sent killers on his personal private jet to commit a crime in the Saudi embassy in another foreign country, and he thinks nothing of it. Why? Because people think that the normal people, the people of the world, thinks that as he's the like supreme leader of MBS, I'm really very sorry, if he is the supreme leader of a country, he deserves to be treated in a different way, and as he is a supreme leader of a country, he deserves to be named properly in a debate show. So this is the persona of people who are like viewing these people in a different way. We need to bring those people in their knees. We need to face them justice. Now the problem is both of our teams agrees on this point that these people, the crime they're committing, this is the most hideous this can get. And according to first speaker, he has said that as it is the worst crime, if possible for a human to commit, we should give them the worst punishment, the harshest punishment we can provide. That means they think that death penalty is a very sweeter punishment in contrast to the life imprisonment. That means people who commit lesser of a crime, like people who accidentally kill a person while committing a burglary, deserves to die. That means that these people are not getting, like the people who commits a crime accidentally or commits a murder accidentally while burglary, they deserve to die. And I bet you these people are much easier to rehabilitate than those people, than Hitler, than the Kim Jong-un of the world, than the MBS of the world, because they are much like they have a very reasonable, or in some cases very reasonable problems in their life. So the whole second speaker's argument, the supreme leaders need to be alive because they need rehabilitations. I bet you the people who commit much lesser crimes and according to them deserve to die because it's a sweeter punishment. those people are even easier to rehabilitate. So why you're not like thinking about those people whom you think are committing less crime and deserve death penalty as a sweeter punishment? I think I make sense here. Number two, they have said that according to them, they think that death penalty is the most sweetest thing, and like life imprisonment is the best thing. Do you know what is more enjoyable than hanging from a rope, breaking your neck on a snap, suffocating for air, and shitting your pants? It's survival. It is the basic human instinct every person has. And also, this survival is the reason why people cross even seas, in the process dying, suffocating, in the process suffering, in the process drowning, just to survive. To say that survival is much a lesser desirable thing than life imprisonment, where you can have food you can have 3 meals a day, where you can read books, where you can enjoy yourself, is a very disrespectful notion to the people who are suffering from this, like from deaths from these supreme leaders, who are running away death hells, who are running away hellfires from these supreme leaders. To say that death is the sweetest thing in the possible, or in the like judiciary system possible, or sweetest punishment possible, is disrespect to the people who are dying because of these supreme leaders. Now, moving on, I'm not going to tell you that what is the most harshest or what is the most sweetest punishment for these leaders. I'm going to tell you what is the most just punishment for these leaders. Look, even if we prosecute Kim Jong-un of this world and like against Hitler, they probably would have gotten the same punishment, which is death penalty. And why is it that? Why is Hitler causing more human deaths, more suffering, deserves the same punishment as like Kim Jong-un? Because as states, because as people, we think that the thing separates us from the other people, the thing separates us from the regimes who think that it is okay to kill people for ideology. We think the humanity in us keeps us alive, and the humanity in us keeps us together, and the humanity in us makes the difference between those criminals and between us. Why death is the most just thing, honorable speaker? Because first of all, to prevent deaths, to prevent these people causing significant harm, causing hellfires on people, to prevent these regimes, to prevent these powerful supreme leaders to kill people, you have to value, or you have to put a certain or immense level of value in human life, in the country, in the state, in the world. That's why you cannot go even as a state to actually make it seem that you really mean it. You cannot go and kill everyone for every type of punishment. So you have to reserve death penalty for the harshest level of punishment. Now, moving on there, or as they have said that these people deserve the harshest levels of punishment we can give, why don't we go around and torture Hitler the same way he tortured the Jews in the Nazi camps? Because we think that is the most inhuman thing, the most inhuman crime against humanity thing you can do against the people. That's why, to prove ourselves human, that's why to show that even if we like treat the criminals justly, you have to give them a death penalty, which might seem painful, which peaceful, which might seem very easy on them. So I'm not talking about what would be the harshest punishment for them. The harshest punishment could be torturing them alive, skinning them alive. But as humans, we have to think about what is just, what gives the best message to the world, and what is the best for the world also. So therefore, I raise my case. Hope we win this argument. Honorable Speaker, thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much. And as you know, Jay, we will not be announcing the results. The results would be based on what the audience says. But before we wrap this debate up, I think the Deepu camera off করে দিল, but I would like to ask Deepu to turn on the camera. And বাকিদেরকেও মানে I would like to start with Deepu because এতগুলি শোতে ছিল. So Deepu, how did you like this debate? কেমন লাগলো? Arguments from both sides.
So as you have said that I have participated in your show probably more than any other guest. So it was a very relaxed and chill debate for me, and this might be the first time when I really enjoyed a debate, because in this debate I don't have to argue, or I don't have to debate for the sake of winning the argument. so I don't have to touch everything the government side have said, and I don't have to like move on in a systematic process. I can just be myself, and I can give new dimensions, new dynamics to the debate. I think which is more necessary in sort like in this type of discussions. Many people are watching, and they deserve to have or they deserve to listen to more ideas per se. So it was very enjoyable for me, and the like motion in particular was very enjoyable for me, and very like thought provoking for me to debate on. Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Thank you, Deepu. It's always pleasure to listening from you. So next up, Adib. Adib was there in the previous show. So tomarta bolo. Yeah, how did you enjoy this debate?
So like I don't know, did you get it or not? This was my first time doing English debate, like first ever speaking English debate,
Acha.
doing English
Nah,
debate.
এটা বুঝা
So,
যায়নি, by the way.
so like it was very nerve wracking at the beginning because like I was like, oh my god, like I'm live and this is my first time doing English debate. So like it was nerve wracking and I don't know how it went. But then after the time when I got more confident, and I wish like we had reply speech because like I'm eager to reply to the like counter arguments they have presented. So it was fun.
Finally, Paulo, tomarta bolo.
Okay, I really wish we had a reply speech because we had a lot of things to say, and whatever the audience say, in my mind, we easily win this debate. And also, like, congratulations to Adip for the debut, and actually he really did well. And also, I wanna mention one thing that my friend, which is my course mate, he saw this debate and said in private chat that I really debated well. So I'm feeling like, well, I'm like that kind of celebrity feeling. So thanks to NSU Talks for organizing such events.
Thank you so very much. I think it was an honor from us to host the debaters from Northwest University Debating Club. And with that being said, that's a wrap from us. But however, Debating Grounds is just act episode baki. That is the last episode. And Otate, we are going to be hosting once again the Bangla debaters. Ota would be a show that I'm looking forward to because motion tonic exciting. So please do tune in for our final episode of Debating Grounds. And with that being said, it's a good night from us. So good night, everyone.